What's my intro today? Hey guys, welcome back to the Magnet Minute. My name is Amy and I'm your host. Today we're going to talk about the most engaging part of managing an online community, and that is scheduling status updates. I'm funny. We hear this argument over and over. When you schedule a tweet or when you schedule a Facebook status, are you really engaging the community? Listen, haters, the tools are there for a reason. If it's helping us do business better, then you know what? I think we should use them. So today I want to talk about some of the more popular platforms in scheduling online activity to see which one might be best for you. Let's start with the most popular one that you probably hear about, and that's Hootsuite. That's Hoot as in the owl and suite as in the hotel room, not the surfer dude. This is probably the most popular because it is so capable of hosting so many accounts across so many different platforms. It's very visually pleasing and easy to go in between all the different accounts, even if you're managing up to 10, 15, 20 communities. I also really like the publisher side. This is great for when you're scheduling content because you can look at it in any way that's best for you. You can look at it as a list, you can look chronologically by day or by week or by month. This is really great because a lot of us need to see things in different ways to make sure we have everything covered. You can also have up to 10 search columns for each social account. This makes it really easy to find content that you might want to reshare or schedule, and it also makes it great for thanking people that are sharing the love about you. Hootsuite's also very popular with the business world because it's great for having multiple team members on one account. You don't want to respond to the same tweet twice, and if you have many people working on that account, it will probably happen. So Hootsuite is extremely helpful in that they will show you exactly which team member responded to a tweet so that everybody knows it's taken care of and you should just leave it alone. Because we don't need duplication, okay? That's definitely not engagement. Downsides of Hootsuite, personally for me, I think the scheduling is really tedious because you have to pick the date and the time for every single update if you're not sending it immediately. I will say, however, that scheduling and picking the date and time is extremely helpful for when you're doing long-term promotions, so definitely keep that in mind. Moving on to my favorite scheduler, we're going to talk about Buffer app. When you're a consultant like myself and you have multiple clients that you work for, you're probably working on many different social accounts, so scheduling is extremely tedious if you have to remember, like I said before, all of those specific times for each brand that are optimal to send out an update. What Buffer does is they have you set those times from the get-go in the settings. So it's just decided. If there are optimal times to tweet, that's probably not going to change for a while. So let's just get it defined for each social account. So then when you want to share content, it just goes into the buffer. So the next time that's been put into the settings of the best time to tweet, it'll just send out that update. The platform's also very clean and easy to use for somebody that's new to this whole scheduling thing. So when you click over to analytics, it is extremely cut and dry how well each update did. Also, I love the Buffer browser extension. Same reason why I like Hootsuite's, because you can just share content from anywhere, but Buffer's is even better because, again, you don't have to pick the time for every single update. It's already in the settings. So it's like, Buffer, bam, it's gone. Ready to go. Downsides to Buffer is Hootsuite's still a good complement, like I said before, for long-term promotions. You can't schedule anything unless it's for the next spot in the buffer. So if you want to make sure that something is getting tweeted out or shared on Facebook multiple times over maybe like a 2 or 3 week period, scheduling on Hootsuite's very useful. And now moving on to my last platform, we're going to talk about Tweetdeck. Tweetdeck is a very popular platform. It's just more known among just basic tweeters that are just checking their own updates, not necessarily a business move. It is very fast. The columns are updating constantly instead of having to refresh like on Hootsuite. And it's very visually pleasing, probably even more than Hootsuite because Hootsuite does have a lot going on. The really big plus to Tweetdeck is if you have other things going on, which most of us do, you can get desktop notifications and actually sound alerts for different columns based on which ones are absolutely urgent. So maybe a search term that you've been researching isn't very important, so that can just update without notifications. But somebody that mentions your brand on Twitter, you might want to respond to that very quickly. So those sound and desktop notifications are key for that. Scheduling on Tweetdeck, I don't think of scheduling when I go to Tweetdeck, but they do offer that. It's not as nice to look at from a strategic strategic standpoint. You can't look at it on a chronological calendar or in Buffer where it's very clean listing. You just get a column, just like any other search with whatever you have scheduled. So if what you're scheduling is few and far between and not happening very often, it's still possible to use Tweetdeck, but there's really no analytics, so much of that tracking that you need to see, you're gonna need to use with whatever you created your links with. So maybe if you created your links with Bitly, you can still do tracking on Tweetdeck, but it's just not as much of a package deal as it is with the other two. Are you using a scheduler for your tweets and status updates? Leave me a comment below and let me know which one you prefer. Or are you a part of the movement that says no scheduling allowed? You can leave me a comment too. I'd love to hear your argument. Thanks for tuning in for today's Magnet Minute. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can tune in next week, and also definitely continue the conversation on Twitter at Schmatastic and at Magnet Media Inc. I'll see you on the next Magnet Minute. For more great tips and resources, make sure you sign up for the Magnet Media Resource Center at magnetmediafilms.com/subscribe.